Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
I would just keep this going for a really long time.
I know, you could literally sing the whole song.
Yeah, but welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And this is episode 114.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot what episode number it was.
I know, it just came out of nowhere. Yeah, had to start it off with that vibe. Not a lot of people might remember that jam. Back in the day from Backstreet Boys. What's that one bar at the corner of the park of Piedmont Park?
Park Tavern.
Park Tavern. So yeah, I was there. I had gone hanging out in the park with a mutual friend actually of ours.
Wink, wink, a friend?
Yeah.
Friend?
Yeah, it was a friend. And
okay.
I don't know why my voice went up like, it's a friend.
Yeah, a friend.
I don't know why I did that. But yeah, we were waiting in line there, and they had the best playlist between the 90s and 2000s and stuff.
They tend to do that. It's kind of like, I'm always like, damn, okay.
Yeah, the music was on point. So that one popped up, and she was like, I think this is 98 Degrees or something like that. I'm like, no, I think this is Backstreet Boys. I know my BSB.
See, okay, I don't understand. I would know on the second, but that's BSB.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a deep cut. It wasn't one of their. I mean, it was a big song. It was a big song.
I thought it's one of my favorites. I used to sing this one. This is why we're buddies because.
Yeah. No, I was singing that all day today. Actually, just
me.
Show me the meaning. That's how I got up in the morning. I woke up, my alarm went off, and it was just like, show me the meaning of beat. Yeah, that is my alarm clock.
Show me the meaning.
The quarantine alarm clock.
I know it's not as positive way to start the day, but it's such a good song. But anyways, V, we're coming off of last week's pretty cool episode. I thought we held it down. I definitely did a majority of the talking that we talked about afterwards.
Yeah,
listening back. But you got some pretty funny moments in there with the sweetie thing. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Calling them out and shit. I was like, dude, V just it doesn't even matter if we have a guest. She's gonna be herself. So I appreciate that. But yeah, no. I mean, how'd you feel about the whole first time having someone from actually the show? No, I mean, I don't want to say it's a star. I mean, yeah, he's a star, I guess. I mean, so are we, but
I mean, I thought it was awesome to get for both of us to peek behind the curtain, because I feel like I've been watching the show a tad longer than you have, Bachelor franchise, but me, I analyze every aspect of how it's done and whatever, and you're very interested in some of that behind the scenes stuff as well, so it's interesting to hear for this new show how they had to they just were sliding into DMs. I think that was just so fascinating to me because that's something that you would never think of for The Bachelor. Even think about how long The Bachelor's been around. They weren't sliding into people's DMs back in the day to be hey, want to be on this show?
Right, I'm hoping they slide into my DM here one of these days, but I think it was cool to actually have someone on, for first of all being our first person, but someone that never watched the show before. They went on the show, so that's kind of cool, right? Yeah. So I thought Brandon Mills was an awesome guest to have, and it was also it was eye opening in the sense that these people are different than what the show portrays them to be. Obviously, I knew that before, but I really felt his personality was way different than I thought it was gonna be.
Well, yeah, same. Obviously, anybody who watches our Tipsy Talks knows I was straight up calling him a fuck boy on our Tipsy Talk.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you didn't call him that to his face, but
I think he redeemed himself. I think he redeemed himself. I feel people can have fuck boy tendencies. Fuck boy, I think, is a gender neutral term, but I think he really redeemed himself, and he understood. He's obviously I got a bad I got my edit, but also he's I didn't go about this the right way. So I'm hey, You know, you live and you'll learn.
Right. Well, if you didn't get to catch that, it's a very cool interview, and we're hoping to get a lot more interviews like that in the future. So make sure you check it out. Episode 113 with Brandon Mills from at Bachelors. Listen to your heart. So V, how's your last week been? What have you been up to? What's going on? What is the new? Sorry, I don't know why it all came out like that. But.
So it was Memorial Day weekend for us, you know. So we both had. Did you have yesterday off? Tuesday off, excuse me, as well, or did you do Friday?
I opted to have the Tuesday off because I figured I needed that extra day of recovery.
Yeah. Yep. Same.
Plus, I also didn't want to let my Memorial Day weekend go by without working on music, and I figured everyone would probably be taking the Friday off. I'll take the Tuesday off, recover, work on music all day.
See, that's perfect. That's such a good way to go about it. But yeah, so we both went on boats this weekend. Which was nice. It was nice to get out in the sun. I still have this really obnoxious sports bra tan on my back that I cannot get rid of. I also did my dance classes that I do Vixen. We've been doing some outdoor classes, some socially distant outdoor classes, so that's been fun. I have no trivia updates. We didn't really have a real trivia this week.
No, all of our listeners. That was our listeners. I'm sorry. Yeah. Actually, round of applause for that. Yeah, thank God.
I might be the next question master again because I've been thinking up some good question round themes, and one of them I think would be pizza, which I just think is so fitting for both of us because you love pizza, I love pizza.
I'm planning on getting it after we're done here, so let's speed this along. I'm just joking. Anyways, yeah, so the boat, and you had a good time out there. It looked like you were with some fun ladies.
It was.
Thanks
ladies.
For the invite. Thanks for the invite.
Okay, well, sorry. We have a very tight-knit quarantine circle, and you weren't part of it. So.
No, I mean, I was with my quarantine circle, and I know how it goes with the boats. It's just there's only a certain amount of people that can go.
I think we have the same size boat as you guys, maybe, but did one of you guys rent it, or does somebody own that boat? My friend owns that boat.
We just rented it. So, I mean, it was pretty nice, but I do realize that I'm just I go hard on a boat, man. It's
who doesn't? We plan.
No, but you know me. I go hard on a boat.
Yeah, we plan to purposely the last time we went on the boat because our friend Trevor owns the boat that we go on. Last time we went on, my friend Catherine drove us to Lake Lanier and stuff, so she didn't drink that. She had 2 beers during her entire time out, so she could drive us back. But this time we're getting an Uber, we're wearing our masks in the Uber, we all had full coolers. We're doing this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would have been fine, but then we ended up going to a friend's family's house afterwards, where I just somehow I pulled it together by the end of the night.
How do you?
But I mean, there was a moment there where I definitely did my infamous brown out, and it's not pretty.
They call me the brown out.
That's not one of the names I actually like. So, but anyways, yeah. So I've been working on music. Went out on the boat that day. That was pretty much all I did. I mean, I rode around on my bike a little bit, like I said, with a friend this weekend. Chilled in the park.
Wink. I love when you keep mentioning just a friend.
No, I'm just saying what I did this weekend. It's just a show segment. I mean, I didn't. Whatever. I just,
Wait, but I saw that you guys used your drone. I saw that you guys used your drone to get some cool video from being on the boat.
Yeah. I mean, we're just.
I'd be nervous as hell.
I trust me. I almost pulled out of it, but I don't know. I trust Paul. And I also got this crazy warranty on it where it's just I got 2 chances to really get it fucked up, and I still can get it returned. So
smart. That's a smart move.
I mean, it's a drone, say to throw it at miles into the sky, you can't even see it sometimes. So, but yeah, well, speaking of things that fly, we might as well catch our flight to, what we do, Quick Hits. Yo, I'm going to give myself a round of applause, too, for that. Was an amazing segue.
That's the best segue I've ever heard from you.
Thank you so much. I've had some bad ones getting into Quick Hits, but that one...
You really have.
Stands out.
But that one was amazing. Wow.
What do we got for some Quick Hits, V?
So we kind of discussed this personally, me and you, that we sort of predicted this most recent versus.
Yeah, Timberland and Swizz Beatz versus. We've been kind of keeping up with it because it's cool. It's music from our past artists like we grew up on, such as Ludacris, Nelly, Neo. All these different people have been like involved in it, and they brought on Jagged Edge and 112, and just the other day or just 2 weeks ago, and that was this past weekend for Memorial Day. I think they did it on Monday.
They did it on Monday, yeah.
So this is episode 114. On episode 112, you could hear me in the beginning saying how I accidentally played Jagged Edge, Where the Party At, because the reason why I played Jagged Edge Where the Party At was because Nelly was going against Ludacris, so I played Jagged Edge. But what ended up happening is that I wanted to play a 112 song because it was episode 112.
112.
So we were talking about Jagged Edge and 112, and then within that week they announced that Jagged Edge and 112 was going to be the next verses, which is a future Bachelor prediction. Like,
we love it. We haven't like done like a big, we haven't like had one of our predictions as of late, but
it's weird. We have segments that come and go now. This is how long we've been doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah. So, again, I try to tune in, but like, I don't know what's going on with these verses. Like, it always has technical difficulties at the beginning.
Because the platform really isn't made for like that amount of people. It's just not. Instagram Live is great, but it's just not really made for it,
And Versus swears that they send like a kit to each of these artists beforehand to like test it out and whatever, but the artists always insist on doing some like extra shit or like using their own stuff and everything, and ends up like they say that's like what they blame it on. But everyone's like watching at the same time. It's a terrible platform for audio, and especially when you get somebody like live with you, two different it's a lot going on, so it doesn't make for the best experience. So I always end up like leaving right away. But I got to see them get all there, so that's pretty cool. But what else we got for music?
So, Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande came out with their big collab hit. That's like one of the singles from Lady Gaga's upcoming new album, Chromatic. And it's Rain on Me. And of course, in their true extra fashion, they had a huge music video for it. A lot of theatrics, a lot of dancing, a lot of crazy costumes. And it's all about, just crying when you need to cry. That's literally what the song is about. But it's a bop, I have to say. I'm a fan. And I've watched the video too many times just to watch it.
But it just looked like a power play. Lady Gaga, Ari. It's like, how many more like superstars can you just mash together? Like, we had Justin Bieber and Ari, now Lady Gaga and Ari.
I know. Well, and she's like bringing like I think, who is it? Blackpink, which is like a well-known Korean like K-pop girl group, and a couple other people I think onto the album. So she's definitely looking for those like
I've heard of
relevant features.
It's a dope name too. Okay, speaking of more female music artists, Doja Cat is still in the news, not for good stuff. She just hit her #1 with Nicki Minaj, but she's been hit with a lot of different allegations of racism and stuff. You probably could speak a lot more on that.
Yeah, so it was trending on Twitter, Doja Cat is over party. In our cancel culture world that we live in right now, that's like a thing that people tend to do. So there was some stuff that surfaced from her past of like how she used to grow up like in different chat rooms and different things that she would be talking to with those people in different chat rooms. And
how do people find this stuff?
I don't know. And like, I consider to be like, pretty like crafty when it comes to like digging up dirt.
It's, what it has to be is that like legit people have been posting the most random shit of themselves on these sites, and not like, there's no way that I don't know.
It's just wild. So like,
I guess it would be equivalent to maybe like posting an IG story, and then like 10 years from now, like something just like society changes and someone pulls up
like someone screen recorded it, or like somebody can like scrape whatever and find. Yeah.
Well, it's just like time changes and stuff, because like I was like, I was actually forgot to bring it up, but like there was like this old like 10-year-old clip of Jimmy Fallon doing an impression of Chris Rock on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And he was in full blackface, but like you know, there's people coming out to defend him saying like that's like a comedian and he had permission from, you know, Chris Rock and that he was doing an impression, but like, I mean, it's just like, you know, that it was just funny. There was a time where no one even questioned that, and it just got past everybody to put it be on TV, and now 10 years later, it surfaces, and you know, he had to make it a public apology about it and stuff. So, but yeah, Doja Cat.
So she similarly, like, people found these video chats saying that she was like participating in like racist speech or different things, or like she has an old
she was
song
in like
that,
it went like a racist chat room or something like that, where it was like she would probably just randomly go in there just to see like how racist it was and stuff, and
yeah,
just
literally
make fun
so
of people
like,
and say crazy things, but people were trying to make it seem like she had like a race fetish or something like that.
Yeah, which like, so, and she's like come out and like she's been like, hey, like I grew up like, you know, in and out of video chat rooms that I probably wasn't supposed to be in and out of. And she's like, and you know, she's half black. So she's like, you know, there's definitely growing up half black or whatever, there's definitely like kind of like some internal racism, or there's just some self-hate surrounding that, just like where, you know,
maybe not even self-hate, but just like identity, like,
yeah,
you know,
so,
uncertainty or something. I don't know, but
yeah, so she talked about that because like then people were trying to come for her being all like, oh well, she said how she hates like her natural hair, and like she did a song that uses like, you know, words that are usually used to make fun of black people, like ebonics kind of things. And like she's like, I purposely like wrote that song to be that way, to be like kind of like a reclaiming, but okay. So like, she's just been like, you know, batting down all the haters on Twitter. I just think it's like crazy how quickly the internet can like turn on you, because like she's been the biggest name in the internet as of late. Like she's all over TikTok. She was, you know, #1 on Billboard last week. Like it's just crazy like how like that flip right now, because, and we talk about this like so often on the show, but like it's just crazy like how cancel culture can, like people can like just jump on you and like twist even like the littlest thing, being like, oh, she's a racist.
Yeah.
Even, but
I mean, yeah, well, I wonder if she'll come out with another huge hit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, what else we got?
So, Khloe Kardashian, someone who wishes she was black, she is. I'm just gonna let that one simmer.
That was a deep and dark segue.
She posted a photo this past weekend.
Right now, you're just like,
I mean, it's not wrong. But she posted a photo this past weekend to Instagram, and the internet has been going crazy because they're like, whose face is this?
Well, I understand why people are, because she does look, you know, we're not idiots. We know what all these people look like, you know, before. Like, you guys were on TV as is, and then, like, you went and, like, changed yourself and expected us to, like, not talk about how you change every 2 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the shape of your bodies and your faces and, you know, the whole thing. So it's like, you know, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand why people are, like, so surprised by it, like, right now. Like, what are they, I mean, are they saying that she, like, it looks bad, or are they saying she looks good? Like, I don't understand. Like,
I feel like people are more just like, you know, it's shocking. I don't think it's as shocking. It definitely looks like, I mean, some of it could be angles, some of it could be makeup, a lot of it is plastic surgery, but like we've seen how she looks drastically different in these, like, even these past couple of like seasoned years of the Kardashians than when
she's
she
like
was
hot now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. And like, you know, some of it is weight loss, some of it's whatever. But also I think the bigger issue with it is that, like, you know, we know that we know in our mind that the Kardashians are, like, you know, do a lot of work on their faces, their bodies, whatever. And I think it just comes down to being like, it's not always like on the platform of Instagram where there's a bunch of, you know, like young people, impressionable people. I think it's irresponsible to like not be outward about what you do to your body. And you know, especially like with when all that happened, like when Kylie's been changed so differently.
Because there's nothing. The hard part about like the body positivity or like just not being negative about it is like it's unrealistic. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can only achieve this level of like transformation with money. You know what I'm saying? And the best doctors like wanting to work on you, and it happens to be like, you know, it's called more to attention with people like Chloe and Kylie because, like, you know, they just look completely different. And it's not like they were ugly. It's just like they just, you know, weren't as, like, I guess, like, what would you say? Like, societally pretty or whatever?
Yeah, like, I guess, like, yeah, like, as ideal, like, ideal, like, beauty standards, I guess,
but,
yeah.
You know, so I guess it's not as noticeable on people like, you know, Kim and what's the other sister, and Courtney. So
Courtney, yeah.
You know, even though they've obviously had a lot of work done, you know, Kim, you know, has had work done and stuff too, but she looks a lot different too. Like, it's just like Kim was just really pretty, and then she had a lot of work done, so now she's really pretty.
Yeah.
You know, Chloe was not traditionally pretty, but then now is like probably hotter than like most girls. You know,
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with that. I guess there's not much really more to talk about because we'll probably have in 2 years from now, Chloe might be something else, but aren't we all? Let's move on to your boy John Krasinski. Another thing I could potentially say was a future Bachelor prediction, but I'll let you unfold all that.
Yeah, so John Krasinski, after doing, you know, about 8 episodes of his little YouTube series, Some Good News, he has sold his show to Viacom CBS. So it will be, you know, on I think it's going to be on their like streaming service. I mean, everybody has a streaming service these days. Mm-hmm. So, it will be there, and so he was getting a lot of hate because people were like, okay, like you purposely made this to be kind of like a fun thing during quarantine to bring joy to people's lives, to be like, hey, like, you know, we only hear the bad news. How about some good news? So people were kind of being like, okay, you're a sellout because this is
what was I saying about him a couple weeks ago?
You were kind of saying that.
Dude, I love, dude. It was like almost hard for you to say that right now. you were kind, because not only that, but then you sent me text messages from your mom, going in on me, and I just had to take it.
I know. Well, yeah, my mom was like, I can't believe he's hating on this Some Good News. It's so good. Like, it makes me cry all the time.
Well, I don't even remember what I was saying about it though.
You were just shitting on it. You were shitting on John Krasinski because you said that you don't think he's like a real, like, you're like, like he's whatever, like he's some buff guy now, and like I don't think he's that good of a guy.
Yeah, and then he goes and flips it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then the whole world turns on. Oh man, the funny part is though, like, dude, like I can't even hate on that move. Like I mean, it's
a smart move. I think.
Yeah, it is. Like, to me, the name Some Good News is such a great name for a show. If that's exactly what they bought from him, like,
yeah, they did, and it's gonna be like on a news network. Well, so now it's gonna be like, yeah.
The thing is though, it's like the funny part about like how ridiculous the sale of it is that like it's not like a crazy idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like anything that, like, I've been in meetings tons of times where we come up with that same exact idea. And it's just like, it's not like it can't be made by other people or called something else. It's just the fact that it was John Krasinski. He made the name and he sold it. And that's like this property that's being sold. And apparently he's going to, I mean, people were really mad because he's not going to be hosting it. It's obviously not something that he wants to do. He's bigger than being a late night talk show, I believe. I don't know what's bigger actually, movies. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a funny question. Like, what's bigger, a late night talk show like Jimmy Fallon, who interviews every single star, or like the stars themselves that go on the late night show?
I feel like it kind of depends. And like, I feel like, you know, not everyone's made to be like. I don't really think John Krasinski wanted to be like a late night talk show.
He'd be great at it though. Like, I mean, if he really wanted to, and it's probably like in the cards for him down the road. It might be in the agreement. Be like, if I ever want to, like, I'll come back and host this shit. But apparently he's gonna like host the first maybe couple episodes and then find like a replacement. Obviously we've seen it happen with the Daily Show, so it's definitely possible that they can come up with find someone that'll be just as good as John, and I'm sure they'll find him. Speaking of more entertainment, I don't know. That was a terrible segue. I'm trying
what is he gonna do?
Speaking of entertainment, like we always do, anyways. What else do we got? Billie Eilish posted a video about what? Body shaming.
So body shamers. So we have actually talked about this because she, during one of her tour stops, like a video that a fan took of like what was happening on the tour, like on the big screen, showed, I think, part of this little short film that she's actually put out now, which is all about her addressing body shamers. Because, like her big thing is that she has made kind of an identity around wearing baggier clothes or whatever, because she didn't want to be like, when now she's 18, but like especially when she was younger, she's like, I don't want to be sexualized as a teen, out here singing and performing. She's like, I don't want it to be about my body. And then whenever she's posted pictures about like of her in a bathing suit or whatever, people then are like saying like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And so she did this whole video where it kind of like shows her very artfully, because like we all know her for how she does artful videos, where it's like artfully showing her like stripping down to her bra as like she's getting like kind of like succumbed by this like liquidy inky water. And like she talking the whole time about do you know me, do you really know me, like why does it matter what kind of clothes I wear, what does it matter what my body looks like, and like why are you giving me all these like conflicting messages. And then the kind of like the whole idea was like, it's not my responsibility. Like your opinion on my body is not my responsibility. And I was like, damn, sis. So, that's,
I feel that, but like at the same time, it's like, that's not the only thing people are talking about you. And also like, it is about your looks. Like when you're a huge star and stuff like that, it just is like, I don't know what to tell you. Like if you were like, if you didn't have a face or a meat truck to like put all your thoughts and souls and hearts into, like
meat truck, did you just call someone's body
I don't know, like so I'm trying to make it as basic as I'm trying to like make it sound. No one would want to listen to it coming out of like a meat body truck.
Well, that's interesting, because like I think about people like Susan Boyle, who's like an incredibly talented singer, and like people barely gave her the time of day because like she wasn't
traditionally pretty.
Yeah, which I think is like, I think that's kind of, and it's kind of ridiculous, because like Billie Eilish is very traditionally pretty. Like she's beautiful. Like she really truly is. Like she's naturally very beautiful. But I definitely side with her with the idea of like especially I feel like women's bodies tend to be more often than men's bodies. Not entirely more,
that's
but like
not true. Me and you probably like comment on like the opposite sex body. Actually, no, you even more, because you comment on girls' bodies too. So you probably comment on bodies more than I do.
No, but I'm just saying that women's bodies tend to be commoditized like more than like, especially in that space, than potentially men's bodies.
I think the lens of it though is, and this is just like my opinion at the moment, but it's just like, I think it's a matter of circumstances. Like Billie Eilish, most of her fans are probably like young girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that being said, if you're thrust to like the top of like, of all eyes, like being a pop star and stuff like that, and the majority of people are not young girls, the only thing they're going to judge you off of is like your looks and all that stuff. Like, and that just comes with the territory. Like it just is like, that's just the way it is. Like you expect like a bunch of people, like, and I'm not just talking about men, but women not commenting on something, they're going to comment on something. And if it's not your music that they're listening to, it's going to be your looks, like, you know. So especially when you're wearing green hair or baggy clothes, like, it has nothing to do with your body at that point. It's just like you're an object of focus, like, of the masses of the people. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess like what she's trying to do is like
that's like what I'm saying.
I guess like I think she's trying to I think she's being radical in the sense that
she's just a kid. That's why she's being radical. She's like, she has no, like, she's trying to act as grown as possible at what, 18 years old or whatever, like that. Like,
yeah.
Just think about being 18 years old, Veronica. Just think about it. Like, I can't even think of like putting as much, and I'm not even that mature now, but I'm like, I feel like like, you know, I'm years removed from 18 years old, and that's how mature I am now. So imagine even putting that maturity, like, you know, I'm looking at stock options and stuff like that into an 18-year-old. Like, it just like my head would explode. I was just thinking of like, I thought about girls a lot now. Like, you should have heard about 18-year-old.
Yeah, no, I don't think I needed to meet 18-year-olds.
Yeah, so yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I just feel like it's just like, you know, I feel like maybe she's being a little sensitive about this, and she just kind of I think if she didn't focus on it so much and just did her thing, it would probably not be.
I don't know, like, I mean, I think like I think I have to stand behind like her, you know, using her voice to talk about it, because I feel like body dysmorphia, body issues are like so prevalent, and especially in like the landscape of social media and everything, like we were just talking about with Khloe Kardashian. So like, I mean, like, she's gonna say what she's gonna say, and I think
I just feel like, I mean, her she, like you said, she's gonna say what she's gonna say, but even those from her perspective, it's like it's not the same as like a girl that isn't a pop star that is shown love all the time, like, you know what I'm saying. It's just a different way of life than a normal person.
True.
So, all right, what else we got?
Mindy this is just a quick hit, literally quickest hit.
All right.
Mindy Kaling is writing Legally Blonde 3, so that's exciting for me.
Yeah, it seems like she's like come into the game as being like this like diverse, you know, new female director that's going to bring back like old stuff. And she seems to have like a pretty good like touch on these properties that she's doing. So I could see, I could definitely see that being in good hands, hopefully. Although, you know, she's been in a couple things that I've like thought were like questionable, like movies, like what's that last one she was in where she was like the assistant to some Ellen character or something like that, like Ellen type.
Oh, it was called like Late Night. It was like something like it was something about being like a late night show or like whatever, like whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, what else we got for another quick hit?
Sophia Richie and Scott Disick broke up, which I've been. You know, this has been the quarantine, the pandemic of a breakup. So they're just another one added to the list. And this is especially coming on the tails of like Scott having to go to he went to rehab briefly he kind of like got bad again, so he went to rehab again.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it probably doesn't help that, like, how old is Sophia Richie? Like,
I think she is just now 21.
Yeah, so if you're battling you know, drugs and drinking, I wouldn't recommend having a 21-year-old girlfriend or a 20 or 18-year-old brown kid named Sai as your significant other, because you would definitely be going back to rehab probably. So, AGT investigation, America's Got Talent. What's going on? Is this racism?
So they kind of did more in the investigation, and honestly, like, I was reading this article, and it isn't like they were like, well, like, there's no, like, you know, the concerns raised by Gabrielle Union had no bearing on, you know, on her contract, really. And it didn't, like, there was never any derogatory remarks about her appearance, nor anything that affected the contestants in their advancement or elimination. So it seems like they kind of, like, skirted around it mostly. So. Yeah. I mean, she's not coming back. Neither is Julianne Hough for other reasons, but
right. I mean, I think you're gonna have a bunch of drama when you're rotating judges through a show like that. So, well, I wanted to kind of talk about podcasts specifically because we are one.
Yeah.
And I am so interested in things of the world of podcasts, like not only because when we started one, it had already been around for obviously for years. And it's still, we're seeing things happen within the podcast world that are huge moments. And that's what makes me like keep going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know what all these things are. And Future Bachelor is, our intellectual property, and it's super important to, me and you. That's why we invest, hours into it each week. So with that being said, Joe Rogan, this has been big news for the last like week and a half or so. Joe Rogan has signed an exclusive deal with Spotify. Now, Spotify is like invested a lot inside of like getting exclusive content in their platform, and Joe Rogan is the biggest. I mean, it's unarguably,
he's like one of the dads of podcasting, honestly.
Right. But I mean, it's like the biggest podcast in the world. Everyone listens to it, like, and if you don't, like, of it, and at some point, Joe Rogan's name has just become a household name, and a lot of it has to do, I think, with the fact that like kind of like what we do, we will ask questions. We don't really, on stuff we don't know. And you have all different types of topics and stuff, except with his, like, he gets into serious topics. We don't get into, serious topics here just because it's hard to switch back and forth between the tones of that type of stuff. And we can probably talk about that a little bit more on our next quick hit. But I think it's huge because Spotify invested like millions and millions and millions of dollars in Joe Rogan, like for, I think, a 3-year contract for him.
It's crazy.
And it's just the licensing of his show for 3 years. So after 3 years, he can go back to putting it on Apple. But like they got exclusive video rights to it too. So like his videos, I think you can still have clips on YouTube, but won't be.
Yeah, but he's going to have, his videos on Spotify as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a huge play. And if you look into it, and especially for stocks, like I wish I would have, I'm trying to like think about like these things like that. Like they announced Joe Rogan, immediately Spotify stocks went up. So if you had invested in, thrown some money in there, you would have flipped money like real quick with just that announcement. And then, putting other like Apple out of play on podcasts. And then it's also going at the jugular for YouTube. Like, that's huge revenue driver for YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is corporation play now. Like, this is not like little money or anything. So, and that's just a guy talking to people every so often on a podcast. So like we're gonna keep doing this as long as like
Indeed.
And then just like seeing like things grow, like like we just had our first like Bachelor contestant like on the show. Like that's something that we've always talked about doing. We try, not like super hard, probably as hard as we want to, but like it's still like happened because it's just like this is the type of stuff that like you manifest, like you just kind of put hard work, and eventually when hard work and luck align, like big things happen. And I mean, you have to think like that to do things all the time. So I think that's a huge move for podcasts. If you do a podcast, that definitely should be huge news to you. And then if you're thinking about doing a podcast, or you ever have, like, just think about it, man. Like if you think podcasts are stupid, if you think like we're dumb because we do a podcast each week, like you're not going to tell me anything different. This dude's making like millions of dollars, like, doing the same exact thing. So, and, we're going to continue to do it. Speaking of another podcast, this is one that like, I have definitely heard of before. You listen to this podcast. It's called Call Her Daddy.
I don't really listen to it. I know of it from other podcasts I listen to.
Hold on, you've never listened to it?
I've listened to it here and there.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, essentially, I've heard of podcasts like it where it's just like, girls that will have interesting perspective on sex and all that. And I mean, I think the rise to their fame came a lot with, the backing of Barstool being, their platform that they jumped off of. And also, like, I think like Apple's podcast algorithms were somehow in play with that as well. But yeah, so essentially what happened with that podcast is it's like up there. It's not like as big as Joe's, but if you saw it, like you would think it was just as big as Joe
I mean,
Rogan's.
yeah, it's Barstool's top podcast.
Right. So it's hosted by two girls, and I forgot their names, but
Sophia and Alex.
Sophia and Alex, and essentially they tried to renegotiate or get out of a contract that they were in, and Barstool was like no, and pretty much they said they were going to stop doing episodes until like they came to an agreement, which, you know, hurts Barstool in the sense of like they had huge ad revenue and all this like merch.
Yeah, they had a lot of merch and alcohol deals and all this stuff.
And so, and what was the seed, I think, in this is that like one of the hosts, one of them was blonde, one of them was brunette. So I mean, whatever. Sophia's the brunette
boyfriend.
One. Yeah, she is dating an HBO exec or something like that, and he got in her ear about them being worth a lot more. Which they probably were, but like the deal like was, you know, they went back and they had a pretty good deal presented to them, and they still were just being difficult. And by them, it was really Sophia, and Alex, you know, was there trying to negotiate, but just got too crazy after a while, to the point where like Alex was like, I just got to go talk to this guy. What's the guy's the CEO?
Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool.
Yeah, so she just negotiated a deal with him, and now she is the only person on the podcast. She is call her daddy. She's daddy. There is no more fathers, it's just her. I watched her whole 34-minute video on YouTube too, just because it's podcast talk. Like, it's interesting to hear like these people talk about their intellectual property being so important, but also like hearing like the art of negotiation, staying humble, you know, and not thinking like you're bigger than, you know, you are. Not saying that like she wasn't big at all, like they weren't huge or anything, but it's just kind of like, you know, he was offering them good deals and stuff, which was the crazy part. So
yeah, well, and it came down to, so like a lot of it was like fueled by Sophia being upset that you know, Alex, who kind of she was the one who kind of thought up the idea. They started it together. She does all the editing. She does all the branding. She does all the social media. She was like, you know, Sophia didn't like it that Alex was like posting on her Instagram story, like her editing the show, because she was like, you make me look bad because it makes it look like I do less work. And Alex is like, you do less work. Like and so because of that, like Alex actually did get awarded a raise more. Like they would usually get like the same raises, same bonuses, whatever. But then she got her own raise because Dave and other people at Barstool saw that she was doing all this extra work that Sophia was not. And so I think that fueled some of like the discord between them.
Well, I mean, even that, like, I mean, we could talk about it and be like a little transparent now. I mean, as far as like that goes, we're a 2-person podcast, and you know, we like to split the work. Like, you know, it's not something that early on I thought I was doing a lot of the work, you know, and you were,
because you wouldn't let me do anything.
Right, but it was only because like, you know, I had a certain like vision and feel and look, and I didn't know like, you know, what your capabilities were as far as, you know, what I knew and stuff when it came to that. But slowly, you know, I was like, Veronica, like, this is stressing me out. I need you to like help me with this part. And, you know, you took over social media, you took over, you know, I would say like artist relations, you know, and that type of stuff. So it's definitely something where like, you know, one part of it like gets taken away from the equation. It definitely affects, you know, the whole product. You know, it's a lot of work. If you weren't here to keep up with like everything, like I would drive myself crazy. I wouldn't be able to do it each week. It just
it wouldn't be fun for you anymore. Right. Because like, yeah, like obviously like you do like our editing and stuff, and like I appreciate you for that, and like, but that's like what you're amazing at. Like I'm amazing at organizing. I organize our show.
Like, yeah, I mean, and so like, you know, if I just wonder like what if there wasn't even that two-sided thing in their relationship, you know?
And I kind of think that's the issue. I don't think I think that wasn't there. I think, you know, Sophia showed up to record, And that was about all she did.
Right. So I think whoever she's dating definitely completely like screwed her out of like her career, which
For real.
is horrible to think about, because you know this girl's gonna go on to the other girl, Alex, is probably gonna go on to have such an amazing career and like, you know, probably maybe find another host. Like if Sophia was smart, she would come back with her tail between her legs and be like, I messed up. I will take anything you guys want, and I will work for. At this point, she'd probably have to work for Alex or something like that. But
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, she said just she couldn't work for her like that. So, yeah, now the show is Alex's, and it's just crazy to see that like a friendship was ruined, and because of like it was just being greedy. I think it was just being greedy. Like
It was just being greedy, and it was about like
when you ask for the world and people give you the world, and then you ask for like another world, like, and it's just like at some point, like it's just you have to like come to an agreement. And the messed up part is that they already had an agreement. They shouldn't have even been talking about any of this, and he still like was willing to work with them. And so it's been a very learning. If you have a podcast, it's been very interesting the last couple of weeks hearing about all this news and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big deal. It's big money that we're talking about and stuff. So,
yeah, and those are girls like my age. Like they're 26, 26, 25, 26-ish. And like this is like, really a big, like this is a huge job. Like, yeah, they're making loads of money.
Right.
For sure.
Well, where do you want to go next?
Do we want to just hype to the yikes? I don't know. I don't know what you want to talk about.
Well, can we make your real news the yikes moment of the week?
Sure, I could just talk about, how racism is my yikes moment lately.
Yeah. Well, what made you go yikes this week?
So I guess there's a video that's been circulating of this woman, Amy Cooper, who felt so threatened by a black man in Central Park, his name is Christian Cooper, asking her to put her dog on its leash because that is a posted rule for that area of the park that he was in. Like, just a normal citizen being like, hey, like, your dog's off its leash. It's like a whole area. It's, I think, called the Ramble or something like that in Central Park that's known for bird watching. And he's all like, hey, could you please leash your dog? And she then got so worked up about it that she was like, you're threatening me. She was like, first of all, like nearly choking her dog out. Mm-hmm. Like,
oh, she did. Like, I mean, it was sad to watch. Like the whole thing is just incredible that it's captured. And like, there's so much like different context to the like scenario. Like, first of all, I thought one of the craziest things is that, first of all, the guy that was there, he was with his sister, I believe. So it was like him and his sister, right?
Yeah.
And then the crazier part is that they're all last names. Everyone involved in the incident were all Cooper, which is like weird, right?
It is kind of a weird coincidence. Like I've been reading the news articles on it being
very
like
confusing.
Like Cooper, no relation because it's all like Amy Cooper, right. Christian Cooper.
But it's just interesting that this lady, like legit, like I'm going to call the cops and say that an African American is what? Threatening me in the park?
Threatening me and my dog. Yes.
And then she goes about it and like screams at the cops and stuff, but she's just so like unaware of just like, you have to be, I feel like, racist to do that. Like,
that's
the climate
like,
we're in, like, it's like she was using the climate we're in against him to scare him to turn it off, and he didn't budge. You know what I'm saying?
That's like a racially charged action. Like her calling the police and saying that like she's being threatened by a black man is racially charged because she knows that's knowing full well how she wants the police to react to that. Yeah. And that is very similar to a lot of the other awful things that have been happening in the news where that man at the very minimum will be disarmed in some sort of way. So, it definitely, and she, you know what? She got her just desserts. She lost her job. And she actually, I think her dog got taken back by the shelter that she had it from. And I think people were saying that supposedly like she's been banned from Central Park. I don't know how you can ban someone from Central Park.
I mean, anytime she comes in there, everyone's just like, fuck you.
Boo.
But yeah, no, you love to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, like it's you hate to see it because you hate to see how quickly people will like do something like that too.
The internet's
because
really been like doing some like internet justice lately. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people have been like making big deals out of stuff, and a lot of stuff has been coming to light. And so it's just like, dude, put your dog on a leash. That's the bottom line.
And it's just like, and it comes down to like, I watched Amanda Seales, who's known for being like on Insecure, and like she's on one of the like morning women talk shows. Yeah. And she's like a very big Black activist. And she talked about how she's like, Karens are like racial terrorists. Like, she's like, this is like a Karen in this situation where she's like being a racial terrorist. Like, she's like, she knew exactly what she was doing by, you know, like, calling the cops and like saying, kind of fabricating a story. Like, no one was threatening her. No one was putting her in harm's way.
She was just threatening.
She was. And then, you know, she felt threatened by a Black man telling her what to do, because like, that's racism. That's her feeling. She's like, oh no, I can't be like, this is oppression. That's not oppression. But yeah, that's my yikes moment, Si.
Yikes, yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely saw that story pop up. It was just like, oh, you're just like so cringy to watch, like someone just so tone deaf, like, you know, and just on the whole situation. So, yeah, I think she got what she deserved. So, well, let's get into our mini main topic this week. Mini main topic. This week on mini main topic, we wanted to maybe talk about, you know, what is a good exit strategy? Like, you know, when you gotta like, when you've been seeing someone and you just kind of have to get out. When's the good point? What do you do? Like, when, like, is there a point? Like can it go for a while? Eventually it fades out, right? I don't know. So
you're talking about more of like a fling or a casual situationship, perhaps. Like, because if we're talking about a full-blown relationship, you can't just weasel. I mean, you could, and then you're a bad person. But like,
yeah. We've seen a couple of those in our past.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, no, this is definitely for, I think, more of like flings. Like, all right, this is for someone that you know you're not gonna date, like, officially. So you like, but like, you might realize that like after 2 times of hanging out, but then you like hung out like 3 or 4 or 5 times. Like, you know, like when do you stop? Like, and did you, you know, what is your experience with like? Okay,
so I guess like and
I'm not talking about ghosting. We're talking about an exit strategy, like strategically exiting.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna relate it from my experience, like, because I'm pretty blunt when it comes to like getting out of situations, but there are certain people that I have trailed along, let's say, because I've enjoyed their attention. Maybe perhaps I haven't physically seen them many times, but I keep them on the leash just to like, because I know they like me, and I know if I like breadcrumb them a little, this makes me look awful, but like there are a couple people who like then I have now kind of ended things with, because I was like, I'm sick of your attention. But I feel like I'm like, I am just very much so, when I hit that point when I'm like, I'm not into this anymore. One of these said individuals kind of made my job easier, because they said something that was just kind of mean to me. And I was like, all right, well, I had second thoughts about maybe seeing you or hanging out with you anymore, but now for sure it's a no. So, I mean,
that's the thing though. Like, all right, so what if you didn't say no, like, all right, I'm exiting at that point? Like, what if you hung out 2 more times and then you're like, shit, I should have bailed, like,
I should have bailed when I knew
he did
it was
that.
bad.
Now I don't have an excuse because I got over that and hung out with him 2 more times. Like,
yeah, I know. It's just like, then you kind of have to, like,
I think this came up with, I'm not gonna name any names, but I think both of us know. And
I know.
Shut up. No, but yeah, I mean, it came up with the fact of like, you know, a person not really like vibing in like group settings, and it's just like very weird things happen, and like you're just going to ignore them because like you have sex and stuff with that person, like, which is a fine thing to do for like maybe once or twice, but like after a couple times, like I feel like it just becomes like so like kind of wrong unless both people agree, like, but I feel like that's like almost impossible to just be like friends with benefits or just benefit like thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, think because all right, so say this situation, so I'm just gonna say one of mine, like it's like necessarily I didn't have an exit strategy. There's a lot more in play here, but like really it was just a matter of just like we were hooking up and it was cool like when it was happening, but like, and I've like multiple times was like, you know, it's cool, like this is just like casual, like, you know, nothing serious or anything. I just don't have I'm not really looking for that right now. She's like, yeah. But then like you know, the girl will be like, hey, do you want to hang out? Like, and then like a couple of times of that, and then being like, hey, like, look, I like when we hang out like this and when it's fun and stuff, but like it would be also nice to hang out with you too. It's just like, all right, like we're heading down the path of exit
like
strategy.
dating, yeah.
And you know, because like, yeah, it was supposed to be casual, and then it wasn't. So now really my exit strategy on that was just distance, like, you know what I'm saying, not ghost, but like just like go away for a while. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you physically went away for a while.
yeah, like go away and then come back and be like, oh, you're hanging out with like another guy, okay, well there's, I guess that was her extra strategy. So I mean, I honestly, I think that's the best bet when you want to do an exit strategy. And then, well, okay, that's the best bet. But how does it make you feel when you want an exit strategy from someone, but then they end up finding someone else because you haven't? They can tell you're on your strategy, and then you're like, damn, what a second, like. Do you ever like get that feeling like, wait a second now?
Yeah, but also then I know that I'm like, I didn't actually want to continue this with them anyways. So like I have no reason.
Yeah, it's an ego thing. I've been trying to get over like so much lately. Where it's
yeah,
just,
I mean, it's always hard to see someone
with like a bunch of different people.
I know. Well, it's like always hard because like I'm always like, well, they can't be as good as me, but like, but at the same time, it's like, but I didn't even want to be like, let them go find somebody who's better for them because like I don't even want to be that person for them right now. Like that. I mean, like I feel like I'm very. Because we have talked about ghosting on the show before. Like, I'm very much so anti-ghost. Like, I had like a couple of guys that I saw pre-quarantine. And like one, as we were starting to get into quarantine, I was like texting him less and less. And he wasn't really texting me that much. But he would try. And I'm like, like, I'm not feeling it. So like, I was very much so like, hey, I'm just not feeling the spark or the chemistry between us. Like, you were so nice to get to know. Like, wish you the best. And like it went over well. Like I feel like that's like my typical thing. And then if you try to press me for anything more, like I don't really feel like I gave you that. Like I don't really feel like I owe you more than that. And I think like with situations like a casual thing or a situationship or like a fling or whatever, like, you know, you got to just be like, hey, like I wanted this to be casual. It feels like it's edging into a territory that I know I can't be that for you. And so like I feel like that's better than not. Like, you know, it's better. And like, yeah, I
think you're right. I think that's the best play. The only thing is like you have to be mature enough to actually not hit that person up again. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's where most people, like when they get that far down, like I feel good that I feel like that type of person where I could say I don't want to hang out with you anymore and never hit them up again just to hook up or just because I'm lonely or anything like that. Like I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people will go back on something how they felt just because of other feelings that like end up going away after like hanging out probably with that person and stuff. Like you're like, oh man, like I shouldn't have ever. It was so much better when I didn't like have to think about this, and now I brought it back. Like, so I thought, I think it, like exit strategy is a good thing to know because, I mean, it's a healthy thing to, I think practice,
Yeah. Well, and
if you're dating.
I feel like in this time, especially right now during quarantine and whatever, like people are feeling some kind of way. Like people have been feeling like more lonely, or people have been circling back to people that they might not usually circle back to because, they know that person once either cared about them or like, once like would like to fuck them or like whatever. So like it's easy to go back to used goods.
You get one circle back though. You get one circle back.
You get one circle back. Is that your rule?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Because I just feel like I'll bring it back. My like off like analogies or something like that. But I have this like one like I say like theory about like crowdsourcing. Like I feel like everyone gets one crowdsource. Like you get one time where you're like, I've been down on my luck. I need some help, guys. Like please, you get one story where everyone will be like, oh damn, like Cy must be on desperate times if like he's asking all of us, like, and publicly asking us for money because he's going through it right now. And you'll get the money from everyone, and everyone will help you out. But if you waste that one crowdfunding on like, I want to go up to like game 6 of like, blah, blah, blah. Or,
or like help fund my like trip to Spain.
Yeah. Like whatever it is, people might like, like you get one of those, like where you get to be like, my dream is to like do this. And I want to do this and that.
Run with the bulls. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Or like, I really want this new camera. You only get one where like you can pull on someone's heartstrings, your friend, but you go asking for another one where you're like, all right, Spain was dope and you guys helped me out with that one. Now let's go to Greece.
And when I say we, I mean me.
You're not going to see anything. And what's even embarrassing than $0 on your crowdfunding is like one person giving you $10 and you're like $2,000 goal. You know what I'm saying? That's why you don't do those.
Like somebody Venmo requesting me, like actually give me the money back from the last one.
I mean, since you're not reaching your goal, could you give me my $10 back that I donated to your crowdfund? That would be so embarrassing. But I would never. But yeah, so I mean, like, on people's birthdays, Facebook lets you do the donations and stuff like that. I'm like, guys, you're setting yourselves up. I know it's like everything helps, but you're setting yourself up to just have like, like the goal is like to 800, like you get $25. You're just like, oh man.
Well, what if they're like good causes? Like, I mean, like people, like I'm never like asked, like people like, ask for donations for like good causes on their birthdays.
It's dumb. Anyways, I mean, you just can't ask.
Sorry that people are charitable side.
No, that's the same thing as the crowdfunding. You can't ask people for money. So when I say you only get one circle back, you only get one circle back. We've talked about it in the recent year when I circled back to that one girl I was talking to. And like she, we had an opportunity to like, we dated for a little bit again. And we just weren't at the same places still. Like, I wasn't necessarily looking to settle down, and she definitely was. And it was not like, so it's like, I can't circle back to her again.
No, you can't. No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you get one circle back. You have one, like, I'm a better person, and I'm a different person than I was before and stuff, and I was. It's just like, I was still in the mode of like wanting to date multiple people and stuff. So yeah, that's why I say you only get one circle back. Now, if you want to use that one circle back for just a random booty call one night, you'll get it. But don't be trying to circle. So you consider
that, I guess, like, yeah, I didn't know if that was like on the same level, because like the circle back you just described is like more of a like, hey, let's try this again. And then like a booty call is like, hey, like,
Right. But what I'm saying, like, you can't waste your circle back on a booty call. You know what I'm saying?
I guess not. No, I guess you have to have designated booty calls then.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
That's why you have to have these flings, but then that's why these flings have to be known that's all. Like, I mean, like, there's definitely people like who could be your designated like plaything, but that only lasts for so long, and that's when you got to be like, all right, well, You gotta just disappear, and you gotta be like, this isn't what I expected. This isn't what I want.
Yeah, my advice would just be like, work up the strength to be able to say bye to someone and let them probably find someone else.
Because like they deserve to find someone who actually like, wants the same things that they want. Yeah. And I also feel like it's, you can't be too selfish for too long when you're just not using, but kind of like somebody because you're like, okay, like this is either comfortable, convenient, whatever. And after a while you're like, oh, but this isn't like what the other person is expecting or wants.
Yeah. Most people don't like being used.
Nope.
Unless that's your thing. But,
which I hope that is. And that's like, that has some deeper issues. Go see a therapist, please.
Well, yeah, that was our main topic this week. I guess we can get into our slapper of the week, huh?
Yeah, I don't really have any major Bachelor news, like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the update would be that Hannah's still hiding.
Hannah. I don't think Hannah's really made.
Where Hannah be?
Yeah.
Yo, dude. That was good.
That was good. You kind of stuttered there, and I was like, wait, where's this going? But you got it.
Thank you. Oh, man, that's hilarious.
Oh, you're on a roll today. You did a good segue. You did a joke that was actually funny.
Wow. Thanks, I think. Yeah, so she's still hiding. I just was seeing maybe a little news about like Kaylin, being like disappointed in her and just like because Kaylin, she thought she was going to be the Bachelorette. Yeah. And then, it was always competition between those two up until the end.
Always.
But at this point, it looks like Kaylin's in the lead with Dean.
Yeah. So, she's living her best life in a van, so.
And looks like she's enjoying it.
Yeah.
So, our slapper of the week was something that came out a couple weeks ago as a snippet that I sent to you, and I was just like, damn, this is crazy. It was Teyana Taylor. And she's dropping a whole new album right now, and the song was just like so good. It has like this Michael Jackson like Power Rangers theme to it. And,
yes, the video is incredible, or the snippet of the video or whatever.
Well, the song's very short. It's like a 2-minute song. Like these songs these days are anywhere between 2 to 3 minutes. So the song's like 2 minutes, and it's just really really smooth. And I picked that as our slapper of the week. What do you think about it?
I mean, like, I saw, like, when she promoted it and, like, she showed, like, these awesome, like, Michael Jackson inspired, like, trench coats, outfits that her and her dancers were wearing and stuff for it. My friend Alma actually put it on her story. I was like, fuck yeah. And then I think you shared it with me, or I shared it with you, or whoever shared it first. But it just is, I mean, it's hot. I don't know what else to say.
I think what I'm trying to say is I think Teyana Taylor is an underrated artist. Like I think,
agree.
Like, she's doesn't get the respect and the roses that she deserves because she's a dancer, actress, like singer, incredibly talented, beautiful, and So without further ado, let's just get into our slapper of the week, the new one by Teyana Taylor called "Bear With Me." Let's go.
Slapper of the week. This song slaps.
Yeah, slapper of the week, Teyana Taylor. It's called "Bear With Me."
Good.
It's just a smooth one, you know what I'm saying? Bear with me. Yeah. What do you got for some shout outs, B?
Just like that.
Just bear with me.
I wanted to shout out my friend Trevor for letting us go on his boat. And then I wanted to shout out our pals over at Three Hans and a Mic for having our girl Clarissa on. I listened to the episode. It was really fun, and they shouted us out. I wanted to shout out a couple of friends for their new places. My friend Catherine and her new condo, and then our friends David and Katie for they're moving into their new house.
Wow.
And then, final shout out, I wanted to shout out our Future Bachelor colleagues over at the Date Card Pod. they did a really cool episode this past week on the whole Hannah Brown incident, and they had people who are, you know, big fans in Bachelor Nation and who are all women of color, you know, do snippets of like their experiences and their reactions to the whole situation. I thought it was a really important way for them to do it, especially because the hosts of that are two white women, and they really wanted to get, you know, voices of people more impacted on there. So I thought that was really cool. So definitely give them a listen.
Word. All those people, dope. I have none. I guess I don't talk to too many people during this whole time during the week. So it's weird. Like, I don't want to just like make up a shout out. But I did see, I mean, just another reminder that Brandon Mills' single "Glistening" comes out this Friday.
This week.
So
yeah.
When this drops, it should drop the next day. And that's the, you know, friend of the show, the compadre. So we're going to show him love. You know, he'll hold a special place in our heart because he was our first, like, you know what I'm saying?
He was our first. Do the boing.
Anyways, "Glistening" out on all platforms Friday. All right. Well, yeah, that's our episode. I mean, we should be having some plans. I got some plans, you know, for the next couple weekends, hopefully. So, you know, slowly getting back into, you know, some normalcy. What about you?
Slowly but surely. I feel like I'm still
It's funny
avoiding a
because
lot.
remember last week when I asked you, like, what are we doing and all that stuff? Like, neither of us said we were going on a boat.
Yeah.
But
well,
I knew I was going on a boat.
like my boat, like we hadn't completely confirmed, but like my boat, like for my, like I actually have posted.
Okay,
I
I
have, I know I'm like stuttering hard. I feel like, you know, I feel more comfortable right now, like doing a lot of stuff like out in the outdoors, with a very select few people, just because all the science is behind how like recirculated air is literally like the highest risk you could get to like spreading this. So like my thing is like I'm not going into any restaurants anytime soon. I'm still like kind of being cautious about like doing workouts or certain places and things like that. Like I think it's all about, you know, just trying to keep our eyes on the prize there. But yeah, no, I think I'm like doing a park hang this weekend. Like I don't really know what my major plans are. Like I'm doing a pizza party. That's about it.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, you know how I know how you love pizza parties.
Like
We're
you
actually
said pizza party. You're like, wait.
yeah, we're judging some of the pizzas in Atlanta. And we're gonna do like we have like judging sheets. Like we're gonna vote on which ones we like best.
Jesus. Well, if you have any extra slices, you know, save me some.
I will.
Cool. Yeah, I miss you, and I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like I've been getting used to like doing this like show over Skype. Is that bad?
No, I mean I feel that. I know. I was
It's kind of like
I'm
working from
really late.
home, you know, like where you have a little extra privileges. Like I'm not wearing pants right now. You know?
Yeah. Like I was like, I'm sorry, I'm like my hair is still wet. Like I'm running late. Like
Yeah. Yeah, you're still
but-
late, and it's Skype. What the hell?
I mean, but I would have been. Think about it. I would have been later.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I got to look at the positives.
6 minutes later because we only live
Goodness.
6 minutes apart. So
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Next week we got episode 115, Big Papa. I don't know why I said that, but I love you guys. We love you guys, and this has been Future Bachelor. My name is Sai,
I'm Veronica.
and we'll see you next week. All right, deuces.
Bye.
Future Bachelor Podcast.